Take charge of your mind and unlock the life you were destined to live. The power within, how taking charge of your mind transforms everything you are and everything you do. Imagine standing on the edge of your life. Looking back at everything you've been through. Every decision you've made. And every dream you've ever dared to dream. What do you see? A story of triumph? Or moments of regret where your potential slipped away? Buried under self-doubt, fear, and hesitation? Now imagine this, what if, starting today, you could rewrite that story? I want to begin by telling you a story. A deeply personal one. There was a moment in my life when I was consumed by chaos, my thoughts scattered. My heart burdened by things I couldn't control. Have you ever felt that way? Like you're carrying the weight of the world and yet running in circles. Getting nowhere? But then, in that darkness, a realization hit me like lightning. The problem wasn't the world around me, it was the world inside me. It's startling, isn't it? To realize that your mind can be your greatest ally or your fiercest enemy. Everything you are and everything you do begins with a thought. And here's the truth that few dare to embrace: if you can take charge of your mind, you can unlock a life you've only dared to imagine. But what does that mean? Exactly? And how do you do it? Let's explore this together. When we talk about taking charge of your mind, we're talking about reclaiming control over the most powerful tool you possess, your thoughts. Because here's the thing, your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions shape your actions. And your actions shape your destiny. Yet so many of us let our minds run wild. Dominated by fear, negativity, and the endless noise of distractions. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you truly listened to your thoughts? Not the surface chatter, but the deeper whispers that guide your decisions. Are they your own? Or are they echoes of others' expectations, fears, or judgments? Let's pause here. I want you to imagine your mind as a garden. Every thought you think is a seed. Some seeds are beautiful, they blossom into joy, love, and purpose. But others? They grow into weeds, fear, doubt, and regret. Now, here's the challenge: who is tending your garden? Are you pulling out the weeds and nurturing the flowers? Or are you letting the weeds overrun your soul? One of the most profound teachings of Christ offers us a way forward: as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What does this mean for you and me? It means that our inner world creates our outer reality. If your mind is full of love, hope, and faith, your life will reflect those things. But if your mind is a storm of anger, resentment, or hopelessness, that storm will spill into every corner of your life. Now, let me ask you a deep question. If you could plant just one seed in your mind today, a single thought that could transform everything, what would it be? Here's the truth: taking charge of your mind isn't about suppressing negative thoughts or pretending life is perfect. It's about mastering the art of awareness and choice. When a negative thought arises, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to let it control you. Instead, you can choose to replace it with something better. But how do you get there? It starts with presence. Most of us live either in the past, regretting what we cannot change, or in the future, fearing what might never happen. But life is happening here. Now. The question is, are you? There's a powerful story from the teachings of Christ that illustrates this beautifully. Picture this: a storm rages as Christ and his disciples cross the sea. The boat rocks violently, and fear grips everyone on board. But Christ? He sleeps peacefully. When his disciples wake him, panicking, he simply says, "Peace, Be still. And the storm obeys. What does this teach us about our minds? That even in the midst of chaos, peace is possible, but only if we command it. Let me bring this to you. When the storms of life rage around you, whether it's stress, doubt, or loss, how often do you let those storms rage inside you? 2. What if you could learn to say, peace, be still, to your thoughts, just as Christ did to the wind and waves? What if you could anchor yourself in calm, no matter how strong the storm? It's not just a nice idea, it's a practice. And it begins with something simple yet profound: gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Because when your mind is consumed with worry or negativity, gratitude is the reset button. It shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right, from what you lack to what you have. Try this right now. Close your eyes and think of 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, or even the fact that you're here, listening to this. How does it feel? Did you notice the storm in your mind quieting? Even just a little? Gratitude is one way to take charge of your mind. But there's more. Another way is through forgiveness. And this one's harder, isn't it? Because forgiveness asks us to release not only others but also ourselves. To let go of the anger, blame, and guilt that weigh us down. I'll share a story that changed my life. I once met a man who had lost everything: his home, his family, his health. But instead of bitterness, he radiated peace. When I asked him how, he said, "I forgave. Not because they deserved it, but because I deserved peace." Think about that. What grudges are you holding on to right now? What would your life look like if you released them? Could it be that forgiveness is less about the other person and more about freeing your own soul? Let's go even deeper. Taking charge of your mind isn't just about what you let go of, it's also about what you focus on. And focus is powerful. Imagine a magnifying glass. When the sun's rays pass through it, they create a fire, not because the sun is stronger, but because its energy is concentrated. Your mind works the same way. When you focus your thoughts on what truly matters, your purpose, your dreams, your values, you create a fire that fuels your life. But when your focus is scattered, your energy is wasted. So here's another question for you. What are you focusing on right now? Is it moving you closer to the life you were destined to live? Or is it pulling you away? As we reach the end of this first part, I want to leave you with this thought: taking charge of your mind is the ultimate act of self-love. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about waking up each day and choosing to tend the garden of your mind, to plant seeds of love and faith, and to pull out the weeds of fear and doubt. Now, let me ask you one last question before we continue. If you could unlock the life you were destined to live, starting right now, what's stopping you? Unleashing the power within, turning thought into action, action into destiny. So, here we are, standing on the edge of a revelation, a realization that your mind is not just a tool but the very blueprint of your life. In the first part, we explored how thoughts shape emotions, emotions shape actions, and actions shape destiny. Now, let's dive deeper. Let's uncover how to turn these insights into profound, practical transformations. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever truly examined your beliefs? Not just the surface ones, but the ones buried deep, the ones that whisper, "I'm not good enough," or "This isn't possible for me." What if I told you that these beliefs, more than any external obstacle, are the chains holding you back? To take charge of your mind, you must first confront your beliefs. Here's why: your beliefs act like filters. They shape the way you see the world and, more importantly, how you see yourself. If you believe you're destined to fail, guess what? You'll sabotage yourself to prove it. But if you believe you're capable of greatness, you'll find a way, even when the odds are stacked against you. Think about the story of David and Goliath. What made David victorious wasn't his skill or his weapon, it was his belief. While others saw an unbeatable giant, David saw an opportunity to overcome. And here's the kicker: the giant wasn't just Goliath, it was fear itself. Now ask yourself, what giants are you facing? And what beliefs are keeping those giants alive? Let's get practical. The first step to changing your beliefs is awareness. Start by identifying the stories you tell yourself. For example, if you think, "I'm not smart enough," challenge it. Ask, "Is this true? Or is this a story I've been told?" Often, you'll find that these beliefs are based on past experiences or other people's opinions, not reality. The next step: replace those limiting beliefs with empowering ones. For instance, instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'm learning to do this." It sounds simple, but words have power. They're like seeds planted in the soil of your mind. Over time, those seeds grow into habits. And habits shape your destiny. But let's be real, this isn't easy. It takes work, persistence, and faith. And this brings us to the next crucial piece of the puzzle: action. Here's the thing: taking charge of your mind isn't just about thinking differently, it's about living differently. Because no matter how much you believe in yourself, nothing changes until you act. But action requires courage, doesn't it? Especially when the path ahead feels uncertain or overwhelming. One of the most powerful lessons Christ taught was this: faith without works is dead. In other words, belief must be accompanied by action. So, how do you take that first step when fear or doubt is holding you back? Let me tell you another story. There was a young woman I once met who had a dream of starting her own business. But every time she thought about it, fear stopped her. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? Sound familiar? But then she asked herself a different question: what if I never try? That single question changed everything. She took one small step. She started researching. Then she took another step, writing a business plan. Step by step, she moved forward. And today, she's living the life she once only dreamed of. Here's the lesson: courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. And the secret to courage is this: focus on the next step, not the entire journey. Because when you look at the mountain in its entirety, it feels impossible. But when you focus on the first step, and then the next, suddenly the mountain becomes climbable. What's one step you can take today toward the life you were destined to live? It doesn't have to be big, just meaningful. Because small steps, taken consistently, create massive change. Let's shift gears for a moment. As we take charge of our minds and align our actions with our beliefs, something incredible happens. We begin to transform not just our lives but the lives of those around us. Think about it. When you live with purpose, when you lead with love and faith, you become a light in the darkness. And that light? It's contagious. Have you ever noticed how one person's energy can uplift an entire room? That's the power you have when you take charge of your mind. Your thoughts, your actions, they ripple outward, creating waves of inspiration and change. But here's a question to challenge you: Are you living as the person you were meant to be? Or are you still hiding your light? Afraid of what others might think? Let me tell you one more story. There was a man who spent years working a job he hated, living a life that felt empty. He told himself it was safe and practical, but deep down, he knew he was made for more. One day, he read these words, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Something clicked. He realized that by staying small, he wasn't just robbing himself, he was robbing the world of the gifts he was meant to share. What gifts are you hiding? And what would happen if you let your light shine? As we near the end of this second part, let's reflect on what we've uncovered. Taking charge of your mind is about more than just thinking positively, it's about transforming your beliefs, aligning your actions, and stepping into your true purpose. It's about becoming the person you were created to be. And here's the most important takeaway: this journey isn't just about you. It's about the lives you touch, the impact you make, and the legacy you leave. Because when you take charge of your mind, you unlock not just your life but the lives of countless others. Before we continue, let me leave you with one last question. If you knew the world was waiting for your light, would you still hold it back? Living the life you were destined to live, a journey of mastery, purpose, and connection. You've come this far. And by now, you're probably feeling the stirring of something deeper, a sense that you're on the brink of a transformation that could change everything. And you are. Because taking charge of your mind and unlocking your true potential isn't just about you. It's about stepping into a life of mastery, purpose, and connection, a life that not only fulfills you but also serves the world around you. But here's the hard truth: transformation isn't comfortable. It demands that we confront our deepest fears, challenge the stories we cling to, and step into the unknown with faith and courage. Are you ready for that? Let's start with mastery. Mastery of the mind doesn't mean silencing every negative thought or controlling every emotion. That's impossible. What it means is learning to navigate the chaos with grace. Imagine a stormy sea. Mastery isn't about calming the waves, it's about learning to sail through them. One of the most profound ways to achieve this is through mindfulness. Now, I know the word mindfulness gets thrown around a lot. But let's strip it down to its essence. Mindfulness is simply the act of paying attention, fully, deeply, and without judgment. Think about it. How often are you truly present? Not thinking about the past or worrying about the future, but fully immersed in the here and now? When you're eating, are you tasting the food? When you're with loved ones, are you really with them? Or is your mind somewhere else, lost in a maze of distractions? Here's a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, practice being fully present. When you eat, savor every bite. When you talk to someone, listen with your whole heart. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice how this simple act transforms your experience of life. Now, let's talk about purpose. Purpose isn't something you find, it's something you create. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And the first step on that journey is asking yourself a powerful question: what do I stand for? Not what others expect of you. Not what society says you should be. But what truly matters to you. One of the most inspiring teachings of Christ is this: for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world, and lose his own soul? It's a call to live authentically, to align your actions with your values, and to pursue what gives your life meaning. But finding your purpose can feel daunting, can't it? Especially in a world that's constantly pulling you in a million different directions. So here's a simple exercise to get started. Write down 3 things that light you up, 3 things that make you lose track of time. That fill you with joy. That make you feel alive. Now ask yourself, how can I bring more of these things into my life? Living with purpose also means embracing your unique gifts. Think about it, there's no one else in the world exactly like you. Your experiences, your perspective, your talents, they're one of a kind. But so often, we downplay our gifts, thinking they're not good enough or important enough. Why? Let me tell you a story. There was a boy who loved to draw. He wasn't the best artist, and his drawings were simple, but they brought him joy. One day, he shared a drawing with his teacher, who dismissed it as childish. The boy stopped drawing. Years later, he rediscovered his passion and started drawing again, not to impress others, but to express himself. His art didn't just bring him joy, it touched the hearts of everyone who saw it. What gift are you hiding? And what would happen if you shared it? Not to seek approval, but to bring light to the world? Finally, let's talk about connection. Because no matter how much mastery or purpose you achieve, life is empty without connection. Connection to others, to the world, and to something greater than yourself. One of the most powerful lessons Christ taught is this: love your neighbor as yourself. It's a reminder that we're all interconnected, that our lives are enriched not by what we take but by what we give. So here's another challenge for you. In the next 24 hours, find one way to connect deeply with someone. It could be a simple act of kindness, like helping a stranger or listening to a friend. It could be reaching out to someone you've lost touch with. Or it could be as simple as telling someone you love them. Notice how these moments of connection fill your heart and bring you closer to the life you were destined to live. As we near the end of this journey, let's bring everything together. Taking charge of your mind is about more than just changing your thoughts. It's about stepping into your power, living with purpose, and building a life of connection and love. It's about becoming the person you were created to be. But this journey doesn't end here. It's a lifelong process. A daily commitment to growth, to faith, and to courage. And as you continue on this path, remember this: you're not alone. We're all on this journey together, learning, growing, and unlocking the lives we were destined to live. So let me leave you with one final question: if not now, when? If not you, who? The time to take charge of your mind is now. The life you were destined to live is waiting. The only question is, will you take the first step?